Tien Zyway stood backstage at the Tencent All-Star Night, her heart hammering against her ribs like a trapped bird. The backstage area was a blur of hurried staff, flashing lights, and the distant, muffled roar of thousands of fans chanting names in the arena. She clutched her script in damp palms, her mind racing back to the grueling months of filming, the sleepless nights, and the sheer emotional weight of the character that had pushed her to her absolute limits. When the camera rolled and the spotlight found her on stage to present, a wave of profound emotion washed over her. It wasn't just the glamour of the evening or the prestige of the event, it was the sudden, overwhelming realization of how far she had traveled. Every tear she had shed in rehearsal, every moment of self-doubt whispered in the dark, and every drop of sweat on set suddenly flashed before her eyes. As she spoke into the microphone, her voice caught, and the well of emotion broke through. She didn't try to hide it. Instead, she let the tears fall, not tears of sorrow or heartbreak, but tears of pure, unadulterated pride. It was pride in her craft, pride in her unwavering resilience, and pride in the wonderful team that had stood by her side through every storm. Across the sprawling backstage lounge, the atmosphere was electric as Jong Linghe's name echoed through the massive venue for the first major category of the night. The announcers' voices boomed with excitement, declaring him the winner of the prestigious award. For a split second, the actor froze, processing the surreal reality of the moment before a brilliant, disarming smile broke across his face. The applause that greeted him was deafening, a testament to the immense dedication he had poured into his recent blockbuster roles. As he made his way toward the grand stage, colleagues patted his back and offered warm, congratulatory nods. Jong Linghe's journey to this pinnacle of success had been paved with relentless dedication, long hours under the scorching sun, and an unyielding commitment to evolving as a versatile performer. Stepping up to the podium, he accepted the heavy trophy with both hands, his eyes shining with a mixture of disbelief and deep gratitude. He thanked his devoted fans, whose unwavering support had been his anchor through thick and thin. This first win felt like a monumental validation of his hard work, but little did the audience know, the night had only just begun for him. Later in the evening, as the categories shifted toward the pinnacle achievements of the television and film industry, the tension in the grand hall reached its absolute peak. Presenters opened the golden envelope for one of the most coveted honors of the night, and once again, Jong Linghe's name resonated through the speakers. Winning a second grand award at the same prestigious event was a rare and historic feat. Gasps of astonishment and roaring cheers erupted from the audience, with fellow actors and industry veterans standing up to applaud his extraordinary achievement. Jong Ling walked back up the grand staircase, visibly moved by the unprecedented double victory. Holding both magnificent trophies, he represented the absolute peak of modern cinematic excellence and dramatic artistry. Backstage, the paths of Tien Zyway and Jong Ling crossed amidst the whirlwind of media interviews and celebratory flashes. They exchanged warm, heartfelt congratulations, their shared exhaustion instantly melting into genuine joy for one another's triumphs. Both had poured their souls into their respective projects, and seeing each other succeed on such a massive platform felt like a collective victory for their generation of artists. The crew members gathered around them, popping sparkling cider and sharing laughter that echoed down the polished corridors of the venue. Photographers captured the candid moments of Tien Zyway wiping away her remaining tears of joy while proudly holding her own commemorative plaque, standing right beside Jong Ling as he balanced his two heavy trophies. It was a snapshot of pure cinematic magic. The media outlets outside were already drafting breaking news alerts, highlighting how this specific evening belonged to two stars who defined passion and dedication. Social media platforms were instantly flooded with high-definition clips of Tien Zyway's emotional speech and Jong Linghe's historic double win. Fans trended celebratory hashtags worldwide, creating a digital tempest of love and admiration. Reflecting on the night, Tien Zyway realized that the tears she shed were a rite of passage. They signified a milestone where she no longer questioned her worth as an actress, but instead embraced her power to move audiences. Every sleepless night spent analyzing scripts had led to this exact second of public validation and personal peace. Jong Ling, sitting quietly in his vehicle as it navigated the bustling city streets after the event, stared down at the two gleaming trophies resting safely beside him. The cool metal felt grounding against his palms. He thought about the characters he had brought to life, the directors who believed in him, and the critics who had challenged him to grow. The dual victories were not merely metallic objects or temporary symbols of fame, they were tangible proof of perseverance. They represented every single time he wanted to give up during a grueling winter shoot but chose to push through instead. The awards whispered a quiet promise that staying true to the craft would always yield extraordinary results. By the time the sun began to peek over the horizon, painting the skyline in hues of amber and rose, the excitement of the Tencent All-Star Night had transformed into lasting history. Tien Zyway and Jong Ling had written a new chapter in their respective careers, proving that true success is earned through sweat, tears, and an unrelenting love for storytelling. The morning sun cast a golden glow across the bustling city of Beijing, yet the digital world was still wide awake, vibrating with the residual energy of the Tencent All-Star Night. Fan clubs across the globe were holding digital celebrations, sharing fan-made edits, and analyzing every single frame of the previous night's broadcasts. The consensus was universal. This was a watershed moment for contemporary Chinese entertainment, anchored by the genuine emotions and stellar achievements of its brightest stars. Tien Zyway woke up to a notification-heavy phone, her screen lighting up continuously with messages from directors, co-stars, and lifelong friends. Scrolling through the endless stream of congratulations, she paused at a particularly touching message from her first-ever acting mentor. It reminded her of where she started, a wide-eyed newcomer auditioning in chilly basement studios, making her recent emotional breakthrough on stage feel even more profound and earned. Across town, Jong Ling spent his morning quietly, sharing a simple breakfast with his manager while the two heavy trophies sat in the center of the wooden table. They weren't talking about box office numbers or upcoming contracts. Instead, they reminisced about the freezing night shoots on his last historical drama and the countless hours spent perfecting sword-fighting choreography. The awards were shiny, but the memories of overcoming adversity were what truly mattered to him. Industry analysts were already publishing morning editorials dissecting the cultural impact of Zhang Linghe's historic double win. Critics noted that his ability to seamlessly transition from complex emotional dramas to high-octane fantasy epics had set a new benchmark for his generation of actors. Studio executives were reportedly scrambling to update their casting wishlists, recognizing that pairing him with top-tier talent guaranteed both artistic credibility and massive commercial success. Meanwhile, discussion boards were flooded with frame-by-frame breakdowns of Tien Zyway's backstage interview following her emotional presentation. Viewers praised her raw authenticity in an industry often criticized for polished perfection. Her willingness to show vulnerability resonated deeply with young audiences, turning her into a powerful symbol of relatable ambition and emotional resilience in the modern limelight. By afternoon, both actors were back in the saddle, proving that true professionals never rest long on their laurels. Tien Zyway arrived at a private sound studio to record the official promotional soundtrack for her upcoming romance series, stepping right back into character with effortless grace. Her voice coach noted with admiration that the emotional depth she displayed at the awards show had seamlessly translated into a richer, more poignant vocal delivery. Jong Ling headed straight to a high-end choreography studio for a secret script read-through and physical training session for his next major feature film. Donning a simple black t-shirt and athletic wear, he dove headfirst into rigorous stunt rehearsals alongside a team of veteran action directors. His two new trophies were locked safely away at home, but the fierce work ethic that earned them was fully present on the training mat. Producers from competing networks were already whispering about potential blockbuster pairings for the upcoming autumn production season. Industry insiders leaked rumors that major streaming platforms were actively drafting collaborative projects that would put Tien Zyway and Jong Ling in leading roles opposite each other. The sheer thought of such a powerhouse pairing sent speculative shockwaves through online fandoms, igniting fresh waves of fan art and narrative predictions. As twilight began to blanket the metropolis once more, the neon lights of the commercial district flickered to life, mirroring the vibrant energy of the entertainment capital. Billboards towering over the bustling pedestrian walkways flashed massive promotional posters featuring both stars, reminding every passerby of their reigning dominance in pop culture. Their faces looked down as icons, yet the people behind the images remained grounded in their relentless pursuit of artistic excellence. Sitting in his dressing room mirror while makeup artists prepared him for a surprise evening magazine cover shoot, Jong Ling caught his own reflection and offered a subtle, reassuring nod. The whirlwind of the Tencent All-Star Night had changed nothing about his core philosophy: act with sincerity, treat every character as a living soul, and let the work speak for itself. The dual trophies were merely milestones along a much longer, infinitely exciting journey. Tien Zyway, meanwhile, was curled up on her apartment sofa with a cup of hot herbal tea, reviewing the script for her next cinematic venture. The script pages were heavily annotated with colored sticky notes, highlighting character motivations and emotional turning points. The tears she had shed on stage days prior were now dried, replaced by the fierce, focused determination of an artist ready to conquer her next great creative challenge. The collective cultural narrative of the industry had undeniably shifted over the past 48 hours. Directors who had previously pigeonholed young actors into one-dimensional idol tropes were now publicly praising Tien Zyway and Jong Ling for redefining what mainstream stardom looked like. They were no longer just popular faces on a screen, they were recognized as dramatic powerhouses capable of carrying the emotional weight of national cinema. International fans were also organizing charity drives in honor of the double victory, pooling donations to build rural libraries and fund art programs for underprivileged children under the actors' names. When news of these philanthropic efforts reached Tien Zyway and Jong Ling, both actors took to their official social media accounts to express heartfelt gratitude, urging their supporters to keep spreading kindness and positivity. As the weekend drew to a close, the digital footprint of the Tencent All-Star Night began to settle from a roaring wildfire into a warm, glowing ember. Yet, the legacy of that single evening remained etched into the history books of modern Chinese television. Tien Zyway's tears of pride and Zhang Linghe's historic double triumph had become modern folklore for dreamers everywhere. In the quiet stillness of the midnight hour, far away from the flashing cameras and screaming crowds, the two stars stood at different windows overlooking the same glittering city skyline. They were a world apart physically, yet uniquely united by a shared dedication to their craft. The night belonged to them, but tomorrow belonged to the stories they had yet to tell.